Hello and welcome to this segment of Straight Talk. Today I'm with Jeff Jones. He's a director with the Global Biorisk Advisory Council, or GBAC, and he also runs a company in Oklahoma called BioSheen Services. Jeff has quite a signature after his name. He's a certified bioforensic restoration specialist and a certified forensic operator. Jeff, welcome to Straight Talk.
Hey, good morning, Jeff. Thank you.
So how are things going on in Oklahoma?
Busy, but not so much outside because outside activity has been brought to a minimum with everyone being sequestered in their own homes and businesses being shut down because of SARS coronavirus, COVID-19.
Quite an issue. So I know, your company's been busy. You got some projects coming up that are substantial. So thank you for giving up a few moments of your time. I know it's kind of early there. I don't know, eight something. That's probably half the day for you, right? You've been up since what, 4?
Something like that.
Morning person like I am. Well, Jeff, I tell you what, let's talk about something you mentioned to me in a phone call. You were watching Fox News and you saw a scrolling headline about a statistic that troubled you, I believe, when you saw that. Why don't you tell us about that and explain why you're concerned?
Well, yesterday morning I was making some notes and I had actually Fox News volume off, and at a particular moment I reached for my coffee cup and happened to look up, and that little scroll bar that goes across, and it brought up this very interesting, somewhat disturbing statistic that according to the SBA, the Small Business Administration, calls to their mental health line had gone up 894%. Now, that is, that didn't double, that didn't triple. 894% to a mental health line is somewhat disturbing, to say the least. And what we're looking at, and let me say this, for people that really do forensic restoration, we're not crime scene cleaners, we're not recovering some bio. We're caretakers of the human condition. So there are no small things. Everything affects something else. So when you see a statistic like that and people are reaching out, then you have to look at not only what someone says, but read between the lines what people don't say. So we know that many people reached out for help. How many people have not? Okay, if you go to the CDC site, Center for Disease Control, and you can look this up, periods of suicide have increased when the economy was under duress, like the stock market crash of 1928 and further duress in 1932. The 60s were a very upside down, violent time. Even the recession of the 80s, we saw a rise in self-cessations or suicide. The word cessation simply means to end. In my business at BioSheen Services, there are 4 types of death: homicide, suicide, accidental, and natural. We don't even use the word suicide on our invoices. That's really quite judgmental, which is way above my pay grade. It can carry a heavy notation among members of the Church of Rome. So we simply use the Latin word cessation, meaning to end, a self-ending right there. But now we've got a period where the economy is becoming just wrecked because of SARS COVID-19, and people are without income and they're waiting for government checks. Well, here's one thing that they did not have back in 1928, 32, the 60s. It was a little more accessible methods to self-medicate. And when people do that, and now we have an increasing availability of opioids, when people begin to self-medicate because they may not be spiritually or psychologically grounded, they make bad decisions that they normally would not have made. So you can see an increase in self-cessations, you can see an increase in domestic violence and criminal activity. And all of these definitely will affect the industry of forensic restoration.
Well, thank you for those thoughts, Jeff. It's definitely troubling. I know with GBAC, which is a division of ISSA, you guys are as busy as you've ever been with working on these issues. Tell me this now, how can we apply this to our industry? What do our frontline workers need to know right now as they go into some of these situations you just described?
Let's look at, and I will use, let's use suicide or self-cessation for a moment, okay? Everything starts with a phone call, and on that phone call, it is essential to acquire critical incident data. Who, what, where, when, how. Now, because of where we're at in the current geopolitical situation, one of the things that we also have to ask in those questions, has this person been tested for, let's just call it COVID-19 for the rest of this discussion, and
Okay.
it'll make it shorter. Has this person been tested or have they not? Well, what is the prime directive of forensic restoration? It's safety. Cannot, shall not, will not be violated. Safety for the team of operators going in to the incident site, and safety for all future occupants. So sometimes we have to make the assumption that this may be an infected environment. And how's that going to affect following the protocol and procedures established by the Global Biorisk Advisory Council on how we're going to, you've always got to have, I used to work SWAT. We always had an entry strategy and an exit strategy. The same for a forensic restoration team. How will this affect your entry strategy? How will this affect your exit strategy?
Great advice. And of course, with this type of work, you can't just go in and do the cleaning. You have to have the training to back it up. What opportunities are out there for someone to qualify themselves to do this work?
Well, in Dallas, Texas, on February 3rd through the 7th, the Global Biorisk Advisory Council had the first session of COVID-19 protocols and procedures and hands-on training that had ever been conducted in the industry. And along with that were Patty Olinger from Emory, formerly Executive Director of the Global Biorisk Advisory Council. There was Dr. Gavin McGregor Skinner, who a lot of people will recognize from Fox News and CNN as a specialist in infectious diseases. Dr. Paul Meacham, who was career with the CDC and now sits on the board of directors. Dr. Stefan Wagner, who has actually been to the BSL Biosafety Lab in Wuhan, China, several times, even from the day it was started to be built, and know several of the scientists from that lab in China. They were all there along with Stephen Leung and from Contact, and yours truly, for not only classroom session, but hands-on training. And training is everything. Here's the difference. Students learn, warriors train. And have no doubt in your mind, this is microbial warfare. This is where people were actually suiting up and following protocols and procedures and learning how to work themselves in to an environment, how to work themselves out through the proper protocols and procedures of pre-disinfecting, testing, forensic cleaning, post-disinfecting. And let's run this real quick, okay? Cleaning, as defined by Dr. Michael A. Berry in his great book, Guarding the Built Environment, is defined as the removal of soil, both visible and invisible. Forensic cleaning is defined as the removal of biological contaminants, both visible and invisible, to prepare surfaces, both vertical and horizontal, for professional disinfecting. So cleaning removes, sanitizing reduces the number of contaminants, disinfecting kills, and sterilization is 100%.
Great information. Now, of course, that class is in the past. Right now, there aren't many online, or I'm sorry, not many in-person classes where we can get together like we have in the past, but that'll come back. So I assume this type of training is going to be available.
It will. As soon as we're able to get together, then let's call the Global Biorisk Advisory Council GBAC for the rest of this conversation. GBAC will be hosting hands-on training. for that. Which just right now, that's not realistic. That's not feasible to do.
Yes, that's true. But it's hopefully this will pass soon and we'll be back to normal as we can get. Well, Jeff, I do appreciate your time here, and hopefully those that watch this understand the need for training as they enter the space that we discussed today, forensic restoration. Have a good day.
Thanks. Train hard, work safe, walk in beauty.